Welcome back to Newsmaker Live. Thank you very much for staying tuned. In a moment, we'll be taking your calls, but we're here with former Foreign Minister Rufus Bousquet, and the discussion has been very stimulating, if I'm to say that myself, for the past 3/4 of an hour.
Brain food.
Brain food, yes, yes. Giving us something to think about for 2013.
Absolutely.
Let's look at the SLP government.
Right.
And the campaign pledge or promise was for jobs. We're seeing a different song being sung now, seeing how bad the economy is. Although the Prime Minister, Dr. Kenny Anthony, is still saying that, jobs have been created. Yeah. What is your assessment of the jobs that have been created? And also of that campaign pledge to provide jobs for St. Lucians?
Look, people need to learn that the politics also takes the form of a game. Okay, and in the same way in a cricket match, you do whatever it is you have to do to win. In the game of politics, some people will do or say whatever it is that they have to do or say to win. The idea being that if you don't win, then you don't get in, that you can't do anything anyway. And if deep down in your heart you really believe that you have something to offer, then you may have to embellish things a little bit in order to make it, because people don't like to hear the truth. If you go up on there and you say, look, I'm going to come in there and I'm going to cut the civil service, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, you people are going to feel some pain. And another guy is out there saying, look, trust me, I'm going to get 250,000 jobs here in St. Lucia. We'll have to import workers. What do you think they're going to vote for? I mean, Better Days is a wonderful slogan. People just, it's catchy, it's short, it's stimulating, and people buy into these type of things. And that is what the politics is all about. And when the time comes to be in politics and to play politics, then as politicians, that's what we do. But at the end of the day, it is up to the electorate to sit and listen and say to themselves, okay, is this really possible? I mean, because remember, if you look at the U.S. presidential elections, this other fellow, Mitt Romney, was talking about all the great stuff he was going to do, and Obama's idea was to debunk what he was saying and to say it just can't be done. And of course, in that country, you had the center for this and the center for that coming out and saying, look, we've crunched the numbers and no, this can't happen, and so on, and throw cold water on a lot of Romney's policies. So unfortunately, we don't have that here, because not a lot of people look at things analytically and objectively. And so we have great difficulty in terms of people coming out there. People that people trust. They prefer to stay out of it, wait and see who wins, and then jump on the bandwagon. I mean, that's the way we do it here. You know what I mean? Because government plays such a big role in everything in St. Lucia that even if you're an accountant, you figure, boy, there's a little government contract, or I'd like to be the accountant for NDC or whatever. So, I'm staying out of this. When the fellas win, I jump on that side and start saying good things about them. If the other guys win, I do the same. So this is what you get in St. Lucia, which is an absolute injustice to those at a lower level who are depending on you to speak the truth and to come out and be heard to assist them in making a decision as to where they're going to vote. So you see, there's blame to go all over the place. So having said that, what was your original question? I sort of got lost in it.
No, about the the promise of jobs.
About the promise of jobs and so on. Yes. So I would rather look at it in that light, but I also recognize that the whole idea of public policy making and so on is a very difficult thing right now. The jobs that have been created, they're not jobs in my view. They're welfare. It's just a welfare program, something to give people so that they will just relax, so that they can survive. Because if they get hungry, then they may be tempted to go out on the streets and so on. So you keep the electorate sort of pacified until hopefully things can happen, things can materialize, and so on and so forth, which would allow you to be able to do a more substantive thing for the country. So I think that's where we are with the Labour Party, because clearly, I mean, the Labour Party government must be having a difficult time. I'm sure some of their own people are out there putting pressure on them because, it's difficult. at this particular point in time. And so you have these various programs and so on, NICE and so on. And there are also programs where people are encouraged to employ somebody, teach them some skills, etc., and the government will pay, I think, half or 60% or whatever it is of the person's wages. But if you don't need somebody in the first place, whether it's half or a quarter that you're paying, that's another quarter that you have to shell out. So you're not likely to want to go along with that unless you're a party guy who figures, look, I'll do that and I'll get something somewhere else, or whatever the case may be.
Well, the last I heard of this is that in some cases 100% has been paid. So that changes the equation altogether.
Absolutely does change the equation. So if you get a free worker, and you know, it would be interesting for some of you. I mean, you're the head of the journalists thing with the Media Association. If some journalists can say, well, okay, you know, let's go interview some of these people and say, look, what have you learned? Have you gotten some skills? But we're not going to get that. Okay, we know that this doesn't happen in St. Lucia. But the reality, though, is that it's an honest effort. Let's put it that way. The government has to try, but there are better ways of doing things than that. And I think one of the things that government needs to look at more than anything else is they have to investigate some. They have to start thinking outside of the box. I find too often that everybody gets locked into the same type of thinking, so you don't see anything new happening. And we have to look in terms of debt. I think most of the debt that government has on its books are high interest debt. I mean, government has issued bonds at 7% and say, well, nobody in the world gets 7%.
I'd love to get 7%.
I mean, you know, that sort of thing. Now it's gone down a bit where you're going to get 5, 6 and what have you. Yeah. But still, I mean, that's high. You know, and believe me, you can get cheaper money in the world. Absolutely, no doubt. Much cheaper money, which would then take the amount required to service that debt on an annual basis down a bit, and then you can go to the people and say, you know what, we've managed to get cheaper money, we have liquidated some of that debt, and the savings, we're going to save $20–30 million every year, and here's what we're going to put that $30 million to. So you got to have buy-in. People got to buy into what you're trying to do, so that they can be part of it. And that's what it's all about. You can't. Too often we separate government from the people. And that's why you'll find on DBS News, when they do Street Vibes, and Lord knows some of the examples of the people that they have out there on Street Vibes. I mean, thankfully, or hopefully, that's not the majority of the population. But you know, when you hear somebody, they ask somebody a question like, do you think government should pay the civil servant? And the guy comes out there and says, well, he's doing that out of money, you know, so they should pay. I mean, you listen to that and you say to yourself, my God, I hope, you know, this is an isolated individual. But this is what you need to do. You've got to get out there and you've got to make people part of it and let them understand what it is you're trying to achieve on their behalf. Because it is all on their behalf. Yeah?
I want to talk about the PMA and that dispute there. We're due for another break, but then I want to also get your calls in. So when we come back, what we'll do is open up the lines and we'll talk about the PMA and that dispute there. Stay with us. Newsmaker Live will continue with former Foreign Minister Rufus Bousquet right after this.